Best scene. Interior, Suzanne's car, night. Suzanne's car, headlights illuminate in the dark, murky country road. The police sergeant sits next to her, carefully watching the road. Dr. Collins is sitting in the rear, leaning forward between the front seats.
Over the years, we've had reports of various sorts going missing.
Looks at the speedometer.
Watch your speed, sweetheart.
Various sorts?
You know, backpackers, hitchhikers, itinerants.
Nods head.
Easy round this bend.
Applause.
Usually young women and a few men. They never found anything, though.
Suzanne and Dr. Collins look at each other.
Where did they look?
Everywhere.
What about 3 miles in?
Yes, there as well. Place has been derelict for years.
Yawns.
Which leads me to believe that this is a wild goose chase.
Interior, inn, second floor, room, night. The fan whizzes round overhead. Muriel is standing over Lana, who is still gagged and strapped to the bed. Lana looks up at Muriel, who smiles at her. Interior, exterior, inn, driveway, night. Suzanne's car pulls up a short distance from the inn. She turns off the engine and headlights. Suzanne and Dr. Collins start to get out of the car.
What are you doing?
Going to investigate?
This is my jurisdiction.
But I really...
Not on my watch.
They stay put. The sergeant gets out.
Wait here.
What about backup?
Backup? Shut up.
He turns his torch on and walks away from the car. Interior, Suzanne's car, night. Suzanne and Dr. Collins watch as the sergeant approaches the inn. His torchlight casts a beam across the front of the building.
This is brilliant.
Well, I'm glad you're excited about my friend going missing.
Sorry, what I meant was I find it utterly intriguing.
Well, it's creeping me out.
Interior, inn, second floor, room, night. The fan whizzes at high speed. Muriel has Lana's head clamped between her hands and jolts her back to point at the fan.
Look at it.
No!
Lana closes her eyes. Muriel tries to force them open with her fingers. Lana shakes her head vigorously. Muriel gives Lana's face a violent slap, knocking her unconscious. Offstage, there's a loud knock at the front door. Muriel hears it and replaces the gag tightly around Lana's mouth and chin. Interior, Suzanne's car, night. Suzanne and Dr. Collins look towards the inn. POV. The front door of the inn opens out. The sergeant appears to be talking to someone. He goes inside and the door closes.
So, using his brilliant powers of detection, he's established it's not derelict.
At least you'll believe that part of the story.
Interior, inn, bar, night. The sergeant removes his hat and sits on a stool at the bar. Muriel pours him a whiskey and he takes a slug, puzzled.
So, how long have you been here?
A few weeks.
I thought they were going to pull the place down.
You're a very handsome man.
The sergeant looks flattered. Muriel looks beyond him at the ceiling fan whizzing at speed above his head. She smiles at the sergeant and refills his glass. Interior, Suzanne's car, night. Suzanne drums the steering wheel with her fingers fixated on the inn. Dr. Collins checks his watch.
What's keeping him?
Beat. Suzanne has had enough. She bolts out of the car and opens the boot. Dr. Collins looks at her, then quickly gets out. Interior, inn, bar, night. Muriel has dragged the sergeant to the floor. They struggle, but she is much stronger than him. She drags him beneath the ceiling fan, which spins above them. Close up on the sergeant's horrified face, he looks at the fan. A vortex of electricity arcs from the fan to the floor, stunning the sergeant. There is an electrical buzz and gurgling, sickening, watery fizz. Exterior, inn, night. Suzanne and Dr. Collins, carrying backpacks, stealthily but quickly approach the rear of the building on foot. They slip down the aisle. They slip down the side. Interior, inn, small, hidden room, night. A dimly lit, dank, bare stone room. Muriel drops her gown and steps into the electrolyte pool on the floor. Tiny blue sparks dance around her body. Interior, inn, small, hidden room, night. Muriel is reclined in the pool, eyes closed. The electrolyte fizzes all around her. Interior, inn, roof terrace, night. Suzanne takes out a climbing rope with a grappling hook. She whips it around her head and releases the rope, and it hits the top of the metal rail and bounces back. Dr. Collins jumps out of the way of the falling hook and rope. Suzanne catches it and tries again. This time, the hook catches on the top of the balustrade on the roof terrace. She checks it, will take her weight, then starts to grapple up the side of the building. Interior, inn, small, hidden room, night. Muriel stirs, her eyes half open. She sits forward in the electrolyte pool and strains to listen. Interior, inn, roof terrace, night. Suzanne reaches the balustrade leaning onto the flat terrace roof. She straddles the wall and climbs over. She signals to Dr. Collins, and he begins his ascent.